Hello, hi, and welcome back to the Strategic Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Blue, and I'm a business astrologer here to help you use astrology so that you can start, grow, and scale your online business. Today, we are wrapping up our Business Foundations with Astrology series. This has been such a fun series to put out for the podcast, and I really love that y'all are getting so much out of it. So today, we are talking all about how to use astrology to actually sell your services and your offers. So let's get started. All of the business foundations are important, but selling is really important. And it's also the place where people have the most feelings around. There's a lot of vulnerability that I think comes with selling. And so I really hope that this episode helps to put that a little bit at ease and makes it a little bit easier for you to consistently sell your offers and your services in your business. You spent so much time in really carving out what is required in order to create a really solid business foundation for your business. So why stop at the action that really brings it all home by actually selling to the community that you've cultivated? Let me actually backtrack and let's get on the same page as to what selling actually is. When I think of selling, it's not the act of being pushy or pressuring your audience to just spend money with you. Essentially, selling, when I think of it, it really comes down to making conversions. Selling is the process that you bring your community members through in order for them to make a decision. When I break it down even further, yes, selling leads to revenue and cash flow. It's literally the person putting in their information so that they purchase a spot in your offer, in working with your one-on-one coaching, in your course or your membership. But the root of it, selling is conversion or taking a specific action. And so, yes, of course, we can focus selling on the tangible financial, transactions that happen within your business, but selling can also be so much more. It can be your community member becoming a client in your signature offer. It can be a community member joining your private community, like your email list, right? Handing over a very valuable piece of information, not just their credit card, but also their email address to stay in touch with you, to hear more about your offer, to be nurtured even further so that when the right opportunity comes for them to join your offer, they're primed and ready to go. But conversions can also be subscribing to your podcast or your YouTube channel or even your Instagram or your TikTok account. Breaking it down like that, selling as a conversion action, right? And even supporting a community member or an audience member that you have through the process of making a decision, now selling becomes a little bit more comfortable, a lot more flexible, and so much easier to approach. This is why selling really matters. In an astrologically aligned business, it's really important to have a strategic selling strategy, to have the processes in place to make it easier for your audience members to make those crucial decisions. So, what is essentially the process that you have in place in order to support someone going from hearing about you, discovering you on some kind of marketing channel, to actually making the decision to become that community member, to join you in a specific community channel like your email list, to even subscribing to your nurturing channels like your podcast or your YouTube channel, or even making the decision to become a paid client inside of your signature offer. Do you even have those processes in place? And if not, that's really where this process can really support you in really establishing what that is and how the astrology can support you in figuring out what is going to work best for you, your nature, and your business. We're really considering this by utilizing the data that you've gathered throughout all of the business foundations, including establishing your business model, refining your signature offer, and even creating your sustainable marketing plan. All of that culminates into creating what your selling strategy actually looks like. And so you can bring astrology into this process of crafting your selling strategy so that you're able to take the pressure off of trying to generate all of your business revenue through these high pressure launches, and instead using strategic selling to focus on the process of conversion at all different levels. That way, you're able to do your best work and create sustainability in your business without tiring yourself out and committing to that energy to sell your offers and your services. This is why I really like using this approach rather than trying to fit into the mold of selling being these high pressure conversions all of the time. Bringing astrology into this process allows you to have more space to breathe. So let's get into the astrology of your selling strategy, how to actually use your chart to define what that actually looks like. Again, definitely make sure that you go back to the notes that you've taken and highlighted through the previous business foundations episodes, the defining your business model, offer development, and marketing episodes to create the solid foundations to your business thus far. This will also allow you to have that established data that you need in order to really zero in on what the selling strategy looks like. So first and foremost, I would zero in specifically on the marketing episode and the things that have really stood out for you in terms of creating a sustainable marketing plan. What is the content type that you've decided is the easiest for you to create content on? And what are the channels that you're utilizing in your marketing strategy? Having that in place ahead of time will be really key to narrow down on specifically what conversions you can create within the content that you're already using and utilizing within your marketing. The key with creating a successful selling strategy is to find the balance between what works and infusing creativity into sharing your message over and over again. Marketing and selling really go hand in hand. So by zeroing in on what is it that you do best and how can you provide information to your clients so that they feel informed, empowered, and fully trusted by you to make these decisions at their own pace, while still having the structure in your business to allow for these conversions to happen very naturally, that'll allow you to create a really successful selling strategy. You really want to consider what are the different levels that your audience members may be on. So for example, perhaps before your audience members feel comfortable and confident enough to become a paid client inside of your signature offer, will they feel maybe more comfortable in becoming a subscriber to your podcast or your YouTube channel, where you can provide further nurturing content, but also like content that informs and answers other questions that they may have about your process, your experience, about learning about you and the process of what working with you really entails and how you specifically are here to solve the problem that they are struggling with, what your approach to that solution actually looks like. That could actually be a more empowering conversion, right, than going from zero to paid client immediately from discovering you and finding out who you are and what it is that you do. Or even perhaps there are people in your audience who are already subscribers to these public channels, and it would actually serve them a whole lot better to become a subscriber to a private community channel like your email list. Considering all the different levels of conversions that can happen within your business, especially outside of becoming a paid client, can really help you to figure out what pieces are required to create your successful selling strategy in the first place. Once you have that in place, there are two places in your birth chart that I specifically like to look to in supporting my clients with creating a selling strategy that works in alignment with their astrology. The first place I look to is the 10th house. So separate from your midheaven, the 10th house itself represents vocation. So not just your career overall, but it's really the direction of your career, the life's work that it is that you are meant to be doing, and what is going to help you to feel the most fulfilled. So zeroing in on this, as well as the other themes of the 10th house, being the house of glory, of public reputation, of the way that you are already showing up and presenting yourself out into the world, showcasing what it is that you do best in the specific ways that you are meant to do it, that differentiates you from other people in the field. That is how you're able to really stand out and create a cohesive marketing and selling strategy that works together. There's also a really nice boost if you naturally have your midheaven here in the 10th house using whole sign houses, because the midheaven representing what it is that you are, here to do and the specific ways that you are meant to do it, that combined with the themes of the 10th house is just a winning combo. And so you want to consider, what is the energy of your 10th house? Do you have any planets here? Any placements? Do you have your midheaven here as well? All of this will really help to give a natural boost to the ways that you're showing up and allowing support to be put in place for your audience members as they move through this decision-making process of moving from marketing to solutions to making those conversions. Now, the planet that I really like working with in terms of helping to establish your selling strategy is actually Mercury. So on its own, you may be wondering, okay, Mercury actually sounds like it would be better suited for marketing, and you can use them for both. Again, I really see marketing and selling to be a very cohesive sibling system, and so you can use Mercury and Venus for both. But if I were your business astrologer inside of Private Astrologer, my one-on-one program, I would definitely be tapping into the energy of Mercury specifically to help you solidify what your selling strategy actually looks like based on your chart. Within business astrology, Mercury is actually so supportive in all facets of business because this is the planet of commerce, ideas, and communication, all things that are really important when it comes to business. But I want to zero in particular here with the fact that Mercury rules over commerce, the literal exchange of value and exchange of goods and services. That is essentially business. Tapping into that aspect of Mercury will allow there to create that cohesiveness that brings all of your business foundations together, but especially when it comes to solidifying what your selling strategy actually looks like. What is truly required in order for your audience members to move through this process of conversion and to go from being just an audience member, just an observer, just a consumer of your marketing materials into an active community member inside of your email list, subscribe to your podcast or your YouTube channel, or even a paying client inside of your signature offer. That is what's required in order to allow that process to move very cohesively and in a way that feels really empowering for both you and the future client. It is not about creating something that feels very forced or inequitable for either you or the audience member, but instead it's really about creating this cohesion and this support around a sustainable process, and one that allows you to create measurable, distinctive goals within your marketing strategy so that you're able to plan out what these conversions actually look like and to sustainably sell in your business without relying on these high pressure launches, or for you to even constantly be selling in your content all the time. That is how you create a sustainable selling strategy using astrology. Now, if you want to know specifically how to use your particular birth chart in order to do this, I do support my clients in this inside of Private Astrologer. So this is my one-on-one program where I support you in bringing your birth chart into your business strategy so that you can create stronger business foundations. All of the information for the program, as well as the link for you to book your sales call so that we can work together to support and strengthen your selling strategy, can be found in the description show notes below. I can't wait to chat with you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.